Hey there, English learners, and welcome back. I'm Catherine, and you're listening to Learn Fluent English Pod, the place where you can improve your English naturally through real conversations. Now, let me remind you of something important. If you truly want to sound natural when speaking English, you must practice out loud. Don't just listen, speak with me. I'll introduce useful phrases and expressions, and I need you to repeat them with me. If you're not repeating, go back and do it. Repetition is key to making these words part of your natural speech. Also, make sure to shadow me. That means you should try to speak along with me at the same time, mimicking my pronunciation and rhythm. This is one of the best ways to sound fluent. And one more thing, listen actively. That means focusing on how words are used in context, not just their definitions. I'll break down each expression, give you examples, and explain them in a way that makes sense. All right, let's jump in. This morning, I had a long to-do list, and one of the first things on it was shopping. My fridge was almost empty, and I needed to stock up on a few essentials. Wait, let's stop here for a second. Stock up on. This is a super useful phrase. When you stock up on something, it means you buy a large amount of it because you don't want to run out anytime soon. Think about people before a snowstorm. They rush to the store and buy tons of bread, milk, and water. They are stocking up on supplies to make sure they have enough in case they can't go shopping for a while. Now, say with me, stock up on. Again, stock up on. Let's use it in a sentence. I always stock up on snacks before a road trip. That means I buy plenty of snacks so I don't run out during the trip. Here's another one. Since winter is coming, I need to stock up on warm clothes. That means I want to buy enough warm clothes now so I don't have to worry later. And another. Whenever there's a discount, my mom stocks up on household essentials. She buys a lot at once so she saves money and doesn't have to shop again soon. Got it? Great. Let's keep going. So I grabbed my bag, headed to the supermarket, and as soon as I walked in, I started browsing through the aisles. Now, let's talk about this word, browse. This is a word that describes a very specific kind of action. It means looking around casually without a clear goal. You're not in a hurry, you're just exploring. For example, when you walk into a bookstore, you may not have a particular book in mind. You just wander from shelf to shelf, checking out different titles, flipping through pages. That's browsing. Say it with me, browse. Again, browse, let's use it in a sentence. Sometimes I go to the mall just to browse, not to buy anything. That means I just walk around looking at stuff. Another example. She spent an hour browsing through the bookstore. She wasn't sure what to buy, so she was just looking at different books. And one more. I like to browse online before deciding what to buy. That means I check different websites, compare prices, and think about what I really want. All right, let's move on. After browsing for a while, I realized I was running low on a few important things. Milk, eggs, vegetables, you name it. Now let's stop here. Running low on. This is a phrase you'll hear all the time. It means you don't have much of something left, and you'll probably need to buy more soon. Think about a car. When the fuel tank is full, you're good to go. But when the fuel level starts dropping, you run low on gas and need to fill up before you run out completely. Now say it with me. Running low on. Again, running low on. Let's use it in a sentence. I was running low on coffee, so I had to grab a new bag. That means I didn't have much coffee left, so I needed to buy some. Here's another one. My phone battery is running low. I need to charge it. See? This phrase isn't just for shopping. It works for anything that's decreasing or almost finished. And one more. We're running low on patience waiting for the bus. That means we're getting impatient because the bus is taking too long. Got it? Perfect. Let's keep going. I picked up everything I needed and headed toward the checkout. But then, guess what? I realized I forgot something. I had forgotten to grab some bread and fresh fruit, so I quickly turned around and made my way back to the bakery section. But as I was walking, something caught my eye. A huge discount sign. Now let's stop here. Catch one's eye. This is a very common and useful phrase. When something catches your eye, it means it grabs your attention because it's interesting, attractive, or unusual. Imagine you're walking down the street and suddenly you see a beautifully decorated shop window. You stop and stare because it catches your eye. It stands out. Now, say it with me. Catch one's eye. Again, catch one's eye. Let's use it in a sentence. That dress in the store window really caught my eye. That means the dress stood out to me, and I noticed it immediately. Another example. I was flipping through a magazine when an article about space travel caught my eye. That means the article stood out, and I wanted to read it. And one more. His unusual painting caught my eye at the art gallery. That means the painting was different, interesting, or beautiful, and it got my attention. Got it? All right, let's move on. So, the sign caught my eye, and I couldn't help but stop and take a look. It said, "Buy one, get one free on my favorite kind of cookies." And, well, who could say no to that? Now, let's stop here. Who could say no to that? This is a fun, casual way of saying that something is too good to refuse. You're not really asking a question. It's just a way to show that something is so tempting, you obviously have to take it. For example, imagine someone says to you, "Hey, do you want free tickets to a concert?" You might respond, "Of course." Who could say no to that? That means the offer is too good to refuse. Say it with me. Who could say no to that? Again, who could say no to that? Here's another example. They were offering free samples of chocolate at the store. Who could say no to that? That means the offer was so good it was impossible to refuse. And one more. A vacation to the beach, all expenses paid? Who could say no to that? That means the idea of a free vacation is so amazing, nobody would turn it down. Got it? Great, let's keep going. So obviously, I couldn't say no to free cookies. I grabbed a pack, tossed it into my cart, and made my way back to the bread aisle. But as I reached for a loaf of whole wheat bread, I noticed something strange. There was only one loaf left, and another shopper was reaching for it too. Now, let's talk about this phrase, make one's way. When you make your way somewhere, it means you go in that direction, often with effort or purpose. For example, imagine you're at a crowded festival. You need to make your way through the crowd to find your friends. That means you're moving carefully, pushing through people to get there. Now, say it with me. Make one's way. Again, make one's way. Let's use it in a sentence. After the meeting, I made my way back to my desk. That means I walked back to my desk after the meeting ended. Here's another one. He made his way through the busy street trying to get to the train station. That means he walked through the crowd, moving toward the station. And one more. She made her way to the front of the concert to get a better view. That means she moved through the crowd to get to the front. All right, now back to the story. I had to make my way to the bread aisle and reach for the last loaf, but the other shopper got to it first. The other shopper grabbed the last loaf of bread before I could reach it. For a second, I just stood there debating whether to ask if they really needed it. But then, just as I was about to say something, they put it back on the shelf. Now let's stop here for a second. Put something back. This is a simple but incredibly useful phrasal verb. When you put something back, it means you return it to its original place after picking it up. For example, imagine you're at a store and you pick up a pair of shoes, but after thinking about it, you decide not to buy them. So, you put them back on the shelf. Say it with me. Put something back. Again, put something back. Let's use it in a sentence. I picked up a jacket at the store, But I didn't like the fit, so I put it back. That means I returned the jacket to where I got it from. Another example, she grabbed a chocolate bar, but then she remembered she was on a diet, so she put it back. That means she decided not to buy the chocolate and returned it. And one more. He took his phone from the table, but his mom told him to put it back because it was dinner time. That means his mom wanted him to return the phone to where it was before. All right, let's continue. So, as soon as the person put the loaf of bread back, I grabbed it before anyone else could change their mind. I tossed it into my cart, feeling pretty lucky, and made my way to the fruit section. I needed some apples, so I started picking through the pile, trying to find the best ones. I always make sure to check for any bruises because nobody wants to buy bad apples. Now, let's stop here. Bad apple. This phrase has two meanings. First, in the literal sense, a bad apple is a piece of fruit that's rotten or damaged, so you wouldn't want to eat it. But figuratively, a bad apple is a person who has a negative influence on others, especially in a group. Imagine a classroom full of well-behaved students, but there's one student who is always causing trouble, breaking rules, and encouraging others to misbehave. That person is a bad apple. They can spoil the whole group. Say it with me. Bad apple. Again, bad apple. Let's use it in a sentence. Most of my coworkers are great, but there's always one bad apple who tries to ruin things for everyone. That means one person in the group is making trouble for everyone else. Here's another one. She was worried that her son's new friends might be bad apples. That means she thought they might have a bad influence on him. And one more. Don't let one bad apple ruin the whole team. That means one person's negative behavior shouldn't affect the entire group. Got it? Let's keep going. After picking out the best apples, I moved on to the checkout line. But, of course, the line was ridiculously long. There were at least 6 people in front of me, and I knew I was going to be waiting for a while. I sighed and decided to kill time by checking my phone. Now, let's break this down. Kill time. To kill time means to do something to pass the time while waiting for something else to happen. It doesn't mean you're literally killing anything. It just means you're filling the time with an activity so you don't feel bored. For example, imagine you're waiting at the airport for your flight. You might kill time by reading a book or watching a movie on your phone. Say it with me. Kill time. Again, kill time. Let's use it in a sentence. I had to wait for my friend at the coffee shop, so I killed time by scrolling through social media. That means I used my phone to pass the time while waiting. Another one. We arrived too early for the movie, so we killed time by walking around the mall. That means we spent time doing something else while waiting for the movie to start. And one more. I always bring a book to kill time when I have to wait at the doctor's office. That means I read the book so I don't feel bored while waiting. All right? So, I was standing in line, killing time on my phone, when something unexpected happened. As I was standing there killing time on my phone, I heard a commotion near the entrance. A woman was digging through her bag frantically looking for something. She looked stressed. And then I heard her say, "Oh no, I left my wallet at home." Now, let's stop here. Leave something at home. This phrase simply means to forget to bring something with you when you go out. It happens to everyone. You walk out the door and later realize you left your phone, wallet, or keys at home. Say it with me. Leave something at home. Again, leave something at home. Let's use it in a sentence. I got to the gym and realized I left my water bottle at home. That means I forgot to bring my water bottle with me. Another example, she was halfway to work when she remembered she had left her laptop at home. That means she forgot to take it with her when she left. And one more. I can't believe I left my glasses at home. I can't read anything without them. That means I forgot to bring my glasses and now I'm struggling. All right, let's continue. So, the woman was standing there looking flustered, clearly unsure of what to do. The cashier gave her a sympathetic look and said, "It's okay. You can put everything back and come back later." That's when the man behind her stepped up and offered to cover her bill. She was surprised and grateful, and everyone around smiled. Now, let's stop here. Step up. To step up means to take responsibility or take action when it's needed. It's often used when someone does something helpful, brave, or responsible in an important moment. Say it with me. Step up. Again, step up. Let's use it in a sentence. When our manager got sick, Sarah stepped up and handled everything. That means Sarah took charge and made sure things got done. Another example. During the crisis, the community stepped up to help those in need. That means people took action and helped each other. And one more. He was nervous about giving the speech, but when the time came, he stepped up and did a great job. That means he overcame his hesitation and performed well. All right, let's move on. The woman thanked the man over and over, promising to pay him back, but he just smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. It's just a small act of kindness." Now, let's stop here. Act of kindness. An act of kindness is something nice that you do for someone else without expecting anything in return. It can be as simple as holding the door open for someone, helping a friend move, or even smiling at a stranger who looks like they're having a bad day. Say it with me. Act of kindness. Again, act of kindness. Let's use it in a sentence. Buying coffee for a stranger is a small act of kindness that can brighten someone's day. That means doing something nice for someone, even if you don't know them, can make them happy. Another example. Helping an elderly person carry their groceries is an act of kindness. That means it's a thoughtful and helpful thing to do. And one more. She always teaches her kids to do little acts of kindness, like saying thank you and helping others. That means she encourages them to be kind in everyday situations. All right, so after witnessing this heartwarming moment, it was finally my turn at the checkout. But then something unexpected happened again. So there I was, finally at the checkout, placing my groceries on the counter when I suddenly realized I had forgotten something. The one thing I actually came for in the first place. I let out a sigh and told the cashier, "I'll be right back. I forgot to grab some bread." Now, let's stop here. Be right back. This is a super common phrase in English. It simply means you're leaving for a short time, but you'll return soon. Say it with me. Be right back. Again, be right back. Let's use it in a sentence. I need to grab my jacket from the car. Be right back. That means I'll go get my jacket and come back quickly. Another example. She told me to wait at the cafe. She'd be right back after making a quick phone call. That means she left for a moment but planned to return soon. And one more. Hey, I need to check on something in the kitchen. I'll be right back. That means I'll go for a moment and come back shortly. All right, let's keep going. I quickly ran to the bread aisle, grabbed a loaf, and rushed back before my turn was over. Phew, close call. I paid for my groceries, and as the cashier handed me my bags, she smiled and said, "Have a great day." I smiled back and said, "You too," and headed toward the exit. Now, let's stop here. Have a great day. This is a simple but friendly phrase used to wish someone well as they go about their day. Say it with me. Have a great day. Again, have a great day. Let's use it in a sentence. I waved at my neighbor and said, "Have a great day," before heading to work. That means I wished them well for the rest of their day. Another example. After finishing my coffee, I thanked the barista and said, "Have a great day." That means I was being polite and friendly before leaving. And one more. At the end of a phone call, my friend said, "Have a great day," and I replied, "You too." That means we both wished each other well. All right, let's continue. As I walked out of the store, I realized I was weighed down with bags, and I hadn't brought my reusable shopping bag. Ugh, classic mistake. Now, let's talk about this. Weighed down. When you are weighed down, It means you're carrying something heavy, either physically or emotionally. Say it with me. Weighed down. Again, weighed down. Let's use it in a sentence. I was weighed down with groceries, struggling to carry everything to my car. That means I was holding a lot of heavy grocery bags. Another example. He felt weighed down by stress and responsibilities at work. That means he was mentally and emotionally exhausted. And one more. The hikers were weighed down by their backpacks, making the climb even harder. That means their backpacks were heavy, slowing them down. All right, so there I was, struggling in my grocery bags. But thankfully, my car wasn't parked too far. I loaded everything into the trunk, got in, and headed home. But little did I know, my shopping adventure wasn't over just yet. As I drove home, I was feeling pretty good about my shopping trip until I suddenly had a sinking feeling. Did I forget something? I mentally went through my grocery list. Milk? Got it. Eggs? Yep. Vegetables? Check. But then, oh no, I completely forgot to buy coffee. Now, let's stop here for a second. A sinking feeling. This is a great phrase to describe that uneasy, nervous sensation when you think something bad has happened or is about to happen. Say it with me. A sinking feeling. Again, a sinking feeling. Let's use it in a sentence. I had a sinking feeling that I left my phone at the restaurant. That means I suddenly felt worried that I forgot my phone. Another example, she had a sinking feeling when she saw the storm clouds. She knew she should have brought an umbrella. That means she felt uneasy because she expected rain and wasn't prepared. And one more. When I heard my name being called in class, I got a sinking feeling. I forgot to do my homework. That means I felt nervous because I realized I wasn't ready. All right, let's keep going. I debated turning back to the store, but I was already halfway home, so I figured, you know what? I'll just make do with tea today. Now, let's talk about this phrase. Make do. When you make do, it means you use what you have, even if it's not ideal. Say it with me. Make do. Again, make do. Let's use it in a sentence. I ran out of butter, so I had to make do with margarine. That means I didn't have butter, but I used margarine as a substitute. Another example. We forgot our camping stove, so we had to make do with a small fire. That means we didn't have the proper equipment, but we managed with what we had. And one more. She didn't have the right tools for baking, but she made do with what she found in the kitchen. That means she used whatever was available, even if it wasn't perfect. Got it? Great. Let's move on. So I made it home, unloaded my groceries, and put everything away. But then I noticed something else. I had completely overestimated how much space I had in my fridge. Now let's stop here. Overestimate. To overestimate something means to think it's more or bigger than it actually is. Say it with me. Overestimate. Again, overestimate. Let's use it in a sentence. I overestimated how much food I could fit in my fridge, and now I have no space. That means I thought there was more room than there actually was. Another example. She overestimated how much time she had to finish the project and ended up rushing at the last minute. That means she thought she had more time than she actually did. All right, so there I was, standing in front of my fridge, trying to rearrange everything to make space. It was like playing a game of Tetris, but eventually I managed to fit everything in, just barely. And with that, my shopping trip was finally over. Or so I thought. Just as I was about to sit down and relax, I suddenly remembered something. I had completely forgotten to buy paper towels. Ugh, seriously? After all that? Now let's stop here. Completely forgotten. This is a common phrase we use when we totally, absolutely forget something. Like it completely slipped our mind. Say it with me. Completely forgotten. Again, completely forgotten. Let's use it in a sentence. I completely forgotten about the meeting, and my boss was not happy. That means I totally forgot it was happening. Another example, she completely forgotten her keys at home, so she had to go back. That means she left her keys behind and didn't realize it. And one more. We had completely forgotten to book a hotel, so we had to find a last-minute place to stay. That means it never even crossed our minds until the last moment. All right, back to the story. So, what did I do? Well, at that point, I wasn't about to go back out just for paper towels. I figured I could just get them tomorrow. No big deal. But then I had a light bulb moment. Now let's talk about this phrase. A light bulb moment. A light bulb moment is when you suddenly get a great idea. Like a flash of inspiration. Say it with me. A light bulb moment. Again, a light bulb moment. Let's use it in a sentence. I was struggling with the math problem, but then I had a light bulb moment and figured it out. That means I suddenly understood it. Another example. During the meeting, she had a light bulb moment and came up with a brilliant solution. That means she got a sudden, smart idea. And one more. I couldn't decide what to cook for dinner, but then I had a light bulb moment. Pasta. That means an idea just popped into my head. Got it? Great. Let's keep going. So, my light bulb moment was this. I actually had some extra napkins in my drawer. Sure, napkins aren't exactly the same as paper towels, but hey, I could make do. Oh wait, we learned this phrase before, didn't we? Make do. That means using what you have instead of what you really want. See how useful these phrases are when you actually use them in context? All right, so I put the groceries away. I found my substitute for paper towels, and I was finally ready to sit down and relax. But then, my phone buzzed. It was a message from my friend. Hey, don't forget about our dinner plans tonight. Oh no, I had completely forgotten about that too. So, my phone buzzed, and there it was, a message from my friend reminding me about our dinner plans. I had completely forgotten about it. I looked at the time, and my heart skipped a beat. Wait, let's stop here. My heart skipped a beat. This is a great expression to describe a sudden feeling of shock, surprise, excitement, or even fear. Think about it. If your heart actually skipped a beat, it would mean you were startled, right? That's exactly the feeling this phrase captures. Say it with me. My heart skipped a beat. Again, my heart skipped a beat. Let's use it in a sentence. When I saw my exam results, my heart skipped a beat. That means I was nervous and surprised at the same time. Another example. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw the price of the dress. It was way too expensive. That means she was shocked by the high price. And one more. I opened my inbox and saw an email from my dream job. My heart skipped a beat. That means I was so excited and anxious at the same time. All right, so back to my story. I had exactly 30 minutes to get ready and head out. That was cutting it close. Now, let's break this one down. Cutting it close. When you're cutting it close, it means you barely have enough time to do something. It's risky because you might not make it. Say it with me. Cutting it close. Again, cutting it close. Let's use it in a sentence. I left for the airport so late. I was really cutting it close. That means I almost didn't make it in time. Another example. She finished her assignment just before the deadline. That was cutting it close. That means she almost ran out of time. And one more. We arrived at the train station with only 2 minutes to spare. Talk about cutting it close. That means we almost missed the train. So, back to my situation. I was definitely cutting it close. I rushed to my closet, grabbed the first outfit I saw, and threw it on. But of course, just my luck. My hair was a mess. And that's when I thought, oh well, I'll just have to wing it. Wait, wing it. This is a fun one. To wing it means to do something without preparation, to just go with the flow and hope for the best. Say it with me, wing it. Again, wing it. Let's use it in a sentence. I didn't have time to practice my speech, so I had to wing it. That means I just spoke without preparing. Another example. He forgot to study for the test, so he had to wing it. That means he answered the questions without knowing much. And one more. We didn't plan the party much, but we'll just wing it and see how it goes. That means we'll figure things out as they happen. All right, so I winged it. I quickly fixed my hair the best I could, grabbed my bag, and rushed out the door. And guess what? I made it just in time. I got to the restaurant, slightly out of breath, but just in the nick of time. Wait, just in the nick of time. This is a great phrase that means arriving or finishing something at the last possible moment, just before it's too late. Say it with me. Just in the nick of time. Again, just in the nick of time. Let's use it in a sentence. The bus was about to leave, but I ran and got on just in the nick of time. That means I made it at the last second before the doors closed. Another example, he submitted his application just in the nick of time, 1 minute before the deadline. That means he was extremely close to missing the deadline, but managed to make it. And one more. We arrived at the concert just in the nick of time, right before the show started. That means we almost missed the beginning, but made it right on time. All right, so I made it just in the nick of time. I walked in, scanned the restaurant, and spotted my friend waving at me. She looked at me and laughed. Wow, you look like you just ran a marathon. And honestly, that's exactly how I felt. Now, let's pause here. Run a marathon. Of course, literally, a marathon is a long-distance race. 26 miles to be exact. But when someone says, I feel like I ran a marathon, they don't mean they actually ran 26 miles. It's just a way of saying they're exhausted or they've been rushing around like crazy. Say it with me. Run a marathon. Again, run a marathon. Let's see it in action. I had so many meetings today. I feel like I ran a marathon. That means I had a super busy and exhausting day. Another one, she spent the whole afternoon shopping, and now she feels like she ran a marathon. That means shopping took a lot of energy and left her feeling really tired. And one more, after cleaning the whole house, I feel like I ran a marathon. That means cleaning was exhausting and physically draining. All right, so back to my evening. I sat down and finally took a deep breath. I told my friend about my crazy rush to get there, and we both laughed. Then, the waiter came over, handed us the menus, and said, "Let me know if you have any questions." And let me tell you, I had questions, because some of these dishes were way too fancy for me to understand. That's when my friend leaned over and whispered, "Just go with your gut." Wait, go with your gut. This is such an important phrase. It means trusting your instincts, going with what feels right instead of overthinking. Say it with me. Go with your gut. Again, go with your gut. Let's use it in a sentence. I wasn't sure which job offer to take, so I decided to go with my gut. That means I chose the one that felt right instead of analyzing every little detail. Another one, she didn't know what to say during the interview, so she just went with her gut. That means she trusted herself to answer naturally instead of planning every word. And one more. I couldn't decide what to order, so I went with my gut and picked the dish that sounded the best. That means I chose what felt right without stressing over it. So, back to my situation. I went with my gut and ordered something that sounded delicious. And let me tell you, it was the best decision I made all day. As we waited for our food, my friend and I started catching up. We hadn't seen each other in weeks, so we had a lot to talk about. I told her about work, my crazy morning, and how I'd been burning the candle at both ends lately. Wait, burning the candle at both ends. This is such a useful expression. It means working too hard and pushing yourself to the limit, often without enough rest. Think about a candle. Normally, you light just one end, but if you light both ends at the same time, it burns out twice as fast. That's exactly what happens when you overwork yourself. Say it with me, burning the candle at both ends. Again, burning the candle at both ends. Let's put it in a sentence. She's been studying late at night and waking up early for work. She's really burning the candle at both ends. That means she's exhausting herself by trying to do too much. Here's another one. I've been burning the candle at both ends with work and family responsibilities. That means I'm constantly busy and not getting enough rest. And one more. He needs to slow down. He's burning the candle at both ends and it's starting to show. That means he's overworking himself and people can see the effects. So, I told my friend that work had been crazy and I felt like I was burning the candle at both ends. She nodded and said, "You need to take a break before you hit a wall." Hold on. Hit a wall. This is another great expression. It means reaching a point where you're so exhausted, physically or mentally, that you just can't keep going. Say it with me. Hit a wall. Again, hit a wall. Let's use it in a sentence. I was doing great on my project, but after 5 hours of working nonstop, I hit a wall. That means I suddenly ran out of energy and couldn't focus anymore. Another example, she was training for a marathon, but at mile 20, she hit a wall and couldn't run anymore. That means her body completely ran out of energy. And one more. I hit a wall after studying for hours. I couldn't process another word. That means my brain was so tired that I couldn't continue. So, my friend told me, you need to take a break before you hit a wall. And honestly, she was right. I had been working nonstop without any real rest. At that moment, the waiter arrived with our food. And let me tell you, it was worth the wait. The food smelled amazing and I couldn't wait to dig in. Wait, dig in. This is such a fun phrase. It means to start eating with enthusiasm, usually when you're really hungry or excited about the food. Say it with me, dig in. Again, dig in. Let's put it in a sentence. The food looked delicious, so we wasted no time and dug in. That means we immediately started eating with excitement. Another one. Dinner's ready, Mom called, and we all sat down and dug in. That means we started eating right away. And one more. After a long hike, they finally reached the picnic spot and dug into their sandwiches. That means they were hungry and ate with enthusiasm. All right, so back to my dinner. I picked up my fork and dug in. And let me tell you, that first bite was pure heaven. As I took my first bite, I could tell right away, this meal was spot on. Wait, spot on. This is a great phrase to describe something that is exactly right, perfect, or just what you needed. Say it with me, spot on. Again, spot on. Let's use it in a sentence. Her advice was spot on. I followed it, and everything worked out perfectly. That means her advice was exactly right. Another one. The weather forecast was spot on today. It said it would rain, and it did. That means the forecast was completely accurate. And one more. His impression of the actor was spot on. It sounded exactly like him. That means his imitation was perfect. So I took my first bite and said, "Wow, this is spot on. Exactly what I was craving." My friend laughed. "I knew you'd love it," she said. "It's their specialty." Now let's talk about specialty. A specialty is something a person or place is known for. Something they do especially well. Say it with me. Specialty. Again, specialty. Let's put it in a sentence. This restaurant's specialty is homemade pasta. That means they are known for their pasta. It's their best dish. Another one. Baking is her specialty. Her cakes are always amazing. That means she is really good at baking, especially cakes. And one more. The chef's specialty is seafood. So you should definitely try his fish dishes. That means he is especially skilled at cooking seafood. So my friend told me, this dish is their specialty. And honestly, I could tell. It was incredible. As we ate, we kept talking about work, life, and weekend plans. At one point, I mentioned a project I was working on, and my friend gave me some amazing ideas. That's a great suggestion, I said. I'll keep that in my back pocket. Wait, keep something in your back pocket. This is such a cool phrase. It means to keep an idea or a plan in mind for future use, even if you don't need it right away. Say it with me. Keep something in your back pocket. Again, keep something in your back pocket. Let's put it in a sentence. I don't need this information right now, but I'll keep it in my back pocket just in case. That means I'll remember it for later, even if I don't use it now. Another one? She always keeps a few extra jokes in her back pocket in case the conversation gets awkward. That means she remembers some jokes to use if needed. And one more. I'm not going to take that job yet, but I'll keep the offer in my back pocket. That means I'll remember the job offer in case I want it later. So I told my friend, that's a great idea. I'll keep it in my back pocket. She smiled. I have plenty more if you ever need them. After we finished eating, we decided to check out a few stores nearby. Now, here's a useful phrase. Check out. This is a phrasal verb that means to look at something, visit a place, or examine something carefully. Say it with me. Check out. Again, check out. Let's see it in action. I heard there's a new cafe in town. Let's check it out this weekend. That means let's visit the cafe and see what it's like. Another one. You should check out this book. It's really interesting. That means you should take a look at it or read it. And one more. Before buying a car, it's important to check it out and make sure it's in good condition. That means you should carefully examine the car before purchasing it. So, after our meal, we decided to check out some shops nearby. We walked into a clothing store, and my friend immediately made a beeline for the sales section. Wait, made a beeline for? This is such a fun idiom. It means to go straight towards something quickly and without hesitation. Say it with me. Make a beeline for. Again, make a beeline for. Let's put it in a sentence. As soon as the doors opened, shoppers made a beeline for the clearance rack. That means they rushed straight to the discounted items. Another one. When I got to the party, I made a beeline for the snacks. That means I went straight to the food table. And one more. After a long day at work, he made a beeline for his bed. That means he went straight to bed without wasting any time. So my friend made a beeline for the sales section, scanning through the racks for bargains. Meanwhile, I spotted a jacket that caught my eye. It was simple, stylish, and looked super comfortable. But before I bought it, I wanted to try it on. Here's another phrasal verb. Try on. This means to put on clothes to see if they fit or look good before buying them. Say it with me. Try on. Again, try on. Let's use it in a sentence. I always try on shoes before buying them to make sure they fit well. That means I put them on to check the size and comfort. Another one. She tried on 5 dresses before choosing the perfect one for the wedding. That means she tested different dresses to see which one looked best. And one more. He tried on the jacket but decided it was too tight. That means he tested it, but it didn't fit well. So, I picked up the jacket and told my friend, I'm going to try this on. She nodded. Go for it. I'll be over here looking at these sweaters. So I walked over to the fitting rooms to try on the jacket. I slipped it on, looked in the mirror, and oh wow, it fit like a glove. Wait, let's stop for a second. Fit like a glove. This is a great idiom. It means something fits perfectly, just right, as if it was made for you. Say it with me. Fit like a glove. Again, fit like a glove. Now let's use it in a sentence. The dress fit her like a glove, as if it was tailored just for her. That means the dress was a perfect fit. Another example, I was worried about the shoes being too small, but they fit like a glove. That means they fit perfectly. And one more. After adjusting the chair to my height, it felt like it fit me like a glove. That means it was just right for my size. So this jacket fit like a glove, and I really liked how it looked. But there was just one little problem: the price tag. It was a bit more than I was expecting to pay, so I had to think about it for a minute. Just then, my friend walked up. "Oh, that jacket looks amazing on you." I smiled. "Yeah, I love it, but it's a bit pricey." She nodded. "I get it, but if you really like it, you should go for it. You don't want to regret it later." She had a point. I didn't want to miss out on a great jacket just because of a little hesitation. Oh, here's another phrase. Miss out. This means to lose an opportunity to do something or get something good. Say it with me. Miss out. Again, miss out. Let's see it in a sentence. I didn't buy the concert tickets in time, and now they're sold out. I totally missed out. That means I lost the chance to go to the concert. Another one. If you don't try this dessert, you'll be missing out. That means you'll lose the opportunity to enjoy something amazing. And one more. She decided to stay home instead of coming to the party, but she missed out on so much fun. That means she lost the chance to have a good time. So, I thought about it again. I didn't want to miss out on this jacket, so I made up my mind. You know what? I'm getting it. I took the jacket to the cashier, pulled out my card, and paid for it. And just like that, I had a new favorite jacket. All right, so after buying the jacket, I continued walking around the store. But you know how it is. When you're just casually looking, things start catching your eye. Wait, let's pause here. Catch your eye. This phrase means something grabs your attention because it's interesting, attractive, or unusual. Say it with me. Catch your eye. Again, catch your eye. Let's use it in a sentence. That bright red dress really caught my eye when I walked into the store. That means the dress stood out and grabbed my attention. Another example. While scrolling online, a beautiful necklace caught my eye, so I clicked on it. That means I noticed it because it looked nice. And one more. At the market, a colorful fruit stand caught my eye, so I went over to check it out. That means it stood out and made me curious. So I kept browsing, and then guess what? I saw a pair of earrings that caught my eye immediately. They were small, elegant, and just my style. Now, I wasn't planning to buy jewelry, but hey, it doesn't hurt to take a look, right? I picked them up, checked the price, and it was actually pretty reasonable. But before buying, I wanted to be sure I wasn't making an impulse buy. Hold on. Impulse buy. This is something you buy without planning, just because you suddenly feel like getting it. Say it with me. Impulse buy. Again, impulse buy. Let's use it in a sentence. I wasn't planning to get a new bag, but it was on sale, so I made an impulse buy. That means I bought it without thinking much about it. Another one. Buying snacks at the checkout is usually an impulse buy. You didn't come to the store for them, but you grab them anyway. And one more. She didn't need another pair of shoes, but they were so pretty that she couldn't resist an impulse buy. That means she bought them just because she wanted to in the moment. So I took a deep breath and ask myself, am I really going to wear these earrings? Or is this just an impulse buy? I thought about it for a second. And you know what? I actually needed some simple, everyday earrings. So this wasn't just a random purchase. I smiled, decided to go for it, and took them to the cashier. And that's how I left the store. Not just with a jacket, but also with a cute pair of earrings that totally caught my eye. All right, so I went to the cashier, handed over my items, and she scanned everything. The total was a bit higher than I expected, but no big deal. I was happy with my purchase. As I reached for my wallet, the cashier asked me, "Would you like to sign up for our loyalty program?" I hesitated for a second because I wasn't sure if I really needed it. But then she mentioned that members get perks like discounts and special offers. Wait, let's pause here. Perks. A perk is a benefit or an advantage that comes with something, usually for free. Say it with me. Perks. Again, perks. Let's use it in a sentence. One of the perks of working in a coffee shop is getting free coffee every day. That means a free coffee is a nice benefit of the job. Another one. This credit card offers great perks, like cash back and free travel insurance. That means it gives extra benefits to the users. And one more. The hotel had amazing perks like free breakfast and access to a private beach. That means these were special benefits included in the stay. So after hearing about the perks, I thought, why not? I signed up for the loyalty program, and guess what? I got an instant discount on my earrings. That felt like a win, and I left the store feeling pretty good about my purchases. Now, as I walked around, I saw another store having a huge sale. The sign outside said, "Clearance sale. Everything must go." Now hold on, clearance sale. A clearance sale is when a store sells items at very low prices to get rid of old stock. Say it with me, clearance sale. Again, clearance sale. Let's use it in a sentence. I bought a winter coat for half the price during the clearance sale. That means the coat was heavily discounted to clear out old stock. Another one. The furniture store is having a clearance sale before they move to a new location. That means they're selling everything at low prices so they don't have to move the items. And one more. Whenever there's a clearance sale, my mom goes crazy shopping for bargains. That means she buys a lot because things are super cheap. So, I decided to step inside and take a look. There were racks and racks of clothes, all with big markdowns. Wait a second. Markdown. A markdown is a price reduction. When an item is sold for less than its original price, say it with me, markdown. Again, markdown. Let's use it in a sentence. These shoes used to be $80, but now they're only $40. That's a huge markdown. That means the price was lowered by a lot. Another one. After the holidays, stores usually offer markdowns on decorations and gift items. That means they sell things at lower prices to clear out stock. And one more. The store had a 50% markdown on electronics. So I finally bought the headphones I wanted. That means the price was reduced by 50%. So there I was, looking at all these markdowns, and I couldn't resist checking out the deals. I picked up a few items, but before getting too carried away, I reminded myself I only needed things I'd actually wear. So I carefully picked out a few pieces of clothing, making sure they were actually worth it. No impulse buying this time. Wait, impulse buying. This is a really useful phrase. Impulse buying means buying something without planning or thinking it through. You just see it and decide to buy it on the spot. Now, back to the story. I made sure I wasn't falling into the trap of buying things just because they were cheap. Oh, falling into the trap. This means getting caught in a common mistake or situation that's easy to avoid if you're careful. Say it with me. Falling into the trap. Again, falling into the trap. Let's use it in a sentence. Many people fall into the trap of spending more just because something is on sale. That means they buy things they don't need just because they see a discount. Well, another one. I fell into the trap of thinking working from home would be easy, but it turned out to be more stressful. That means I believed something would be simple, but I was wrong. And one more. Don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. Focus on your own journey. That means don't make the mistake of constantly measuring yourself against other people. All right, so I stayed focused and only bought things I really needed. I grabbed a couple of items, made my way to the checkout, and whipped out my wallet. Wait, let's talk about this. Whip out. To whip out something means to take it out or bring it out very quickly. Say it with me. Whip out. Again, whip out. Let's use it in a sentence. He whipped out his phone to take a picture of the sunset. That means he quickly took out his phone to snap a photo. Another one. When the waiter brought the bill, she immediately whipped out her credit card. That means she took it out quickly to pay. And one more. As soon as the magician stepped on stage, he whipped out a deck of cards. That means he pulled them out quickly to start his trick. So I whipped out my wallet, paid for my items, and left the store feeling pretty good about my choices. No impulse buying, no regrets, just smart shopping. Now, as I was leaving the mall, I suddenly realized I forgot to buy what I originally came for. I couldn't believe it. I had spent all this time carefully picking out the right things, avoiding impulse buying, and making sure I didn't fall into the trap of unnecessary spending. But I forgot the one thing I actually needed. I stood there for a second, feeling like I had completely dropped the ball. Wait, dropped the ball. This is a really common phrase in English, and it means to make a mistake, especially when you were expected to do something correctly. Say it with me. Drop the ball. Again, dropped the ball. Let's use it in a sentence. I was supposed to send an important email yesterday, but I completely forgot. I really dropped the ball on that one. That means I made a mistake because I forgot to do something important. Another one. The company dropped the ball on customer service. And now they're getting a lot of complaints. That means they failed to provide good service. And now people are unhappy. And one more. I promised to bring dessert to the party, but I forgot. I totally dropped the ball. That means I made a mistake by not doing what I said I would. So I had really dropped the ball by forgetting the one thing I came for. I quickly checked my shopping bag. Nope, it wasn't in there. I sighed and decided to double back to the store. Oh, double back. This phrasal verb means to return to a place you've already passed because you forgot something or need to go back for another reason. Say it with me. Double back. Again, double back. Let's use it in a sentence. We were halfway to the airport when I realized I forgot my passport. We had to double back home to get it. That means we had to turn around and go back home. Another one. She left her phone in the restaurant, so she had to double back to pick it up. That means she had to go back to the restaurant to get her phone. And one more. I was walking to work when I noticed I wasn't wearing my watch. I had to double back and grab it. That means I had to go back home to get my watch. So I doubled back to the store and went straight to the aisle where I knew I'd find what I needed. I zeroed in on the item I had come for, grabbed it, and rushed to the checkout. Now, zeroed in on. This means to focus on something or to find exactly what you're looking for. Say it with me. Zeroed in on. Again, zeroed in on. Let's use it in a sentence. After looking at dozens of dresses, she finally zeroed in on the perfect one. That means she found the exact dress she wanted. Another one. The detective zeroed in on the suspect after reviewing all the evidence. That means he focused on one person as the most likely criminal. And one more. While shopping online, I zeroed in on the best deal and made my purchase. That means I found the best price and went for it. So I finally zeroed in on the item I had forgotten, paid for it, and left the store. For real this time. No more doubling back, no more dropping the ball, and definitely no more forgetting what I needed. Finally, I was out of the store and on my way home. But then, just as I thought I had everything under control, I checked my receipt and realized something. I had been overcharged. Oh, come on. Overcharged. This means to be charged more money than you should have been. Say it with me. Overcharged. Again. Overcharged. Let's see it in a sentence. The cashier accidentally overcharged me for the apples, so I had to go back and get a refund. That means I was charged more than I should have been for the apples, so I had to get my money back. Here's another one. My phone company overcharged me this month, so I called customer service to fix the bill. That means they charged me too much, and I had to get it corrected. And one more, the restaurant overcharged us for drinks, but we didn't notice until we got home. That means we paid more than we should have, but we didn't realize it at the time. So I had been overcharged, and I wasn't about to just let it go. I marched back inside and explained the situation. Luckily, the cashier quickly made it right and refunded me the extra amount. Wait, made it right? This phrase means to fix a mistake or a problem. Say it with me. Made it right. Again, made it right. Let's use it in a sentence. The company sent me the wrong order, but they made it right by shipping the correct item for free. That means they fixed their mistake by sending the right product. Another one. He forgot my birthday, but he made it right by taking me out to dinner the next day. That means he made up for his mistake by doing something nice. And one more. The hotel made it right after we complained about the noise. They upgraded us to a quieter room. That means they fixed the issue by giving us a better room. So the cashier made it right, and I was finally good to go. As I stepped outside again, I felt relieved. No more surprises. Or so I thought. Just as I was about to head home, I noticed something else. There was a buy one, get one free sale on something I had been meaning to stock up on. And let me tell you, I jumped at the chance. Now, jumped at the chance. This means to quickly take advantage of an opportunity. Say it with me. Jumped at the chance. Again, jumped at the chance. Let's use it in a sentence. When my friend offered me a free ticket to the concert, I jumped at the chance. That means I immediately accepted the opportunity. Another one. She jumped at the chance to work abroad when her company gave her the option. That means she didn't hesitate to take the opportunity. And one more. He jumped at the chance to try the new restaurant when his coworkers invited him. That means he was excited and accepted the offer right away. So I jumped at the chance, grabbed the deal, and finally headed home. So I finally got home, put down my shopping bags, and took a deep breath. Shopping can be exhausting, right? But hey, at least I got everything I needed, and even some extra goodies. But before I could relax, I had to put everything away. Oh, hold on. Put away. This is a simple but super useful phrasal verb. It means to place something in its correct spot or store it properly. Say it with me, put away. Again, put away. Let's see it in action. After doing the laundry, I put away my clothes in the closet. That means I folded them and placed them where they belong. Here's another one. Can you put away the dishes after washing them? That means store them in the cupboard or wherever they belong. And one more. After dinner, she put away the leftovers in the fridge. That means she stored the remaining food so it wouldn't go to waste. So I put everything away. The milk in the fridge, the snacks in the pantry, and the fresh vegetables in the crisper. And let me tell you, it felt good to see my kitchen fully stocked again. But then I noticed something. I had gone overboard with the snacks. Now, gone overboard. This means to do something too much or spend too much. Say it with me. Gone overboard. Again, gone overboard. Let's use it in a sentence. She went overboard with decorations for the party. It looked like a wedding. That means she did way more than necessary. Another example. I think I went overboard on shopping today. My cart was overflowing. That means I bought way more than I originally planned. And one more. He goes overboard with gifts during the holidays. He buys something for everyone. That means he spends too much or does too much when giving gifts. So yeah, I had definitely gone overboard with the snacks. But hey, at least I wouldn't run out anytime soon, right? Just as I was about to sit down and relax, I realized something. I needed to check my bank statement and see exactly how much I had spent. And wow, I had really racked up quite a bill. Oh wait, racked up. This means to accumulate a large amount of something, usually expenses or debt. Say it with me, racked up. Again, racked up. Say it with me, racked up. Again, racked up. Let's use it in a sentence. I racked up a huge phone bill after using too much data. That means I accumulated a high charge because of extra usage. Another example. She racked up a lot of points on her rewards card after shopping during the sale. That means she collected a lot of points by spending money. And one more, he racked up a lot of debt by using his credit card carelessly. That means he accumulated a lot of money that he now owes. So, yeah, I had definitely racked up quite a bill on this shopping trip. Maybe next time I should stick to my grocery list and avoid impulse buys. But hey, what's done is done. And now it was time to finally sit down, relax, and enjoy a snack. All right, that wraps up today's episode. We covered some super useful phrases. Put away, go overboard, and rack up. All in the context of shopping. And remember, if you want to truly make these words a part of your natural English, don't just listen. Repeat them, say them out loud, and use them in your own sentences. If you found this helpful, make sure to check out the PDF in the description, where you'll find everything we covered today, including all the words, their meanings, and extra example sentences. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to learn Fluent English Pod so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep practicing, keep repeating, and keep improving. Bye for now.